Welcome to the Prime Health Podcast with your host, Dr. Derek Barron. Dr. Barron interviews doctors, wellness experts, and healthcare leaders who are revolutionizing how we approach health and longevity. The Prime Health Podcast explores breakthrough science, personal and patient stories, and practical insights that are shaping the future of health and wellness. So sit back, listen in, and prepare to transform how you think about your path towards Prime Health with Dr. Barron and his special guest.
Hello, my name is Dr. Derek Barron, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Prime Health Podcast. We interview doctors, nurses, wellness experts like our guest today, and healthcare leaders who are revolutionizing how we approach health and longevity. We explore breakthrough science, personal and patient stories, and practical insights that are shaping the future of health and wellness. Now, before we get into today's episode, a quick note from our sponsor, Grow Solutions, your growth partner for busy health and wellness professionals. Now, Grow Solutions works to eliminate your biggest headaches, such as new patient or new lead flow, lack of communication back and forth, ANI technology and overwhelm because it's hitting us every day, video production and growth, and ways to streamline the operations of your business. So Grow Solutions partners with you to implement frameworks that help your business grow, improve communications, and implement automations that allow you to step away from work and enjoy life. So if you've ever said this to yourself, I'm too busy to grow, too slow to scale, or too overwhelmed to fix it, we can help. So feel free to, chat, drop something in below by putting the word grow, or send me a message, anything I can do to help you out. But let's dive into today's episode and the star of our podcast. So I'm pleased to introduce you to John Graham Harper, founder and CEO of LumaFlex, a global leader in portable red light therapy for performance recovery and well-being. And you're going to be amazed at this technology. John is a former competitive athlete turned wellness innovator who developed LumaFlex as discovering the powerful benefits of red and near infrared light therapy during his own recovery from serious injury. LumaFlex is now trusted by athletes, coaches, therapists, and veterans worldwide for its clinical grade effectiveness and rugged portable design. And wait till you see how this is moldable. It's so unique. With over 15 years in the fitness and wellness industry, John has helped thousands of individuals and professionals integrate natural, non-invasive recovery tools into their lives and businesses. He's built a reputation for combining cutting-edge technology with accessible education through LumaFlex Academy, a free platform designed to empower coaches and clinicians with real-world light therapy protocols. John is also an award-winning entrepreneur, with LumaFlex recognized by Time Magazine, Fast Company, and ISPO as one of the most innovative wellness technologies in the world. He's passionate about reshaping how people approach healing through light, movement, and long-term performance. John, thank you very much for being here, and welcome to the Prime Health Podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. I'm very flattered. And thanks so much for letting me access your audience. You've obviously built up quite a rapport with your viewers, with your listeners, and to have access to them, to be able to share is very special. So thanks so much for that.
Well, John, I appreciate that. I'll send you the check in the mail just so you get that for those kind words. So from your bio and your research, what I've read and the conversation that we've had, can you tell me a little bit about your background, but specifically what got you into the path of healthcare?
I was big into fitness back in the day. I was that skinny kid that wasn't picked for the team. Like I was the last person picked, so not very confident, right? I was that skinny little boy, waiting, thinking I got to change some stuff around here. I got to make some moves. So I found the gym, started building muscle, started building confidence. And I loved it so much that I was like, this is what I want to do. So I went into personal training. I opened up gyms. I went into fitness tech. But throughout that time, I kind of wanted to practice what I preached. I wanted to be able to sell, because I'm selling myself as a trainer. I want to sell a good picture. So I was always competing, and my sports was rugby. That was the first sport I was very competitive in. But it took a toll on me with 2 busted shoulders, and my left knee was a nasty injury. And I moved on from there into amateur boxing. 4 years into amateur boxing, I started to get very severe headaches. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she pushed me to go to get a checkup, to do a scan on my head. And they found a tumor in my head, which the doctor told me was caused by traumas to the head. Because he was asking me, like, did you have a serious car accident? Did you fall as a child? I was saying, well, no, but I get hit in the head a lot with, with getting into boxing. So they said, yeah, this is bad for you. You can't do this sort of impact sports because your body's not conditioned for it. And the tumor was about the size of my thumb. It's about that big. I had 11 months to plan this surgery. And they said after 11 months, the tumor is going to grow to where microsurgery is going to be very difficult. So we're going to have to leave a serious mark on your head. And not only that, but the tumor is growing into your brain. So he's like, let's get this surgery planned and scheduled because this could be fatal.
Sure.
And that was like a big turning point, in my life where I wanted to sort of change things up, not be that, the person that just goes in and smashes through the door, but someone that's more calm and collected, more processed. And my wife, she was the one that actually originally pushed me to do red light therapy. And she bought me this lamp. And this lamp is like, if you can imagine, like, those old hospital gadgets, this lamp, it was something you had to wheel around. It had this weighted base. It was an ugly thing. It was as ugly as sin, this thing, but it worked. It was this big red bulb that you would aim on the pain area. And the bulb, it was this old technology, it would get very hot, super hot. And I thought the heat was the therapy. I thought, it's like heat, blood circulation, because I was very skeptical. And I basically agreed to these. It was every evening, 20 minutes, aim at the area. I agreed to it just to make, the missus happy. I was like,
sure.
You're not going to stop bugging me about this. But it worked after a week. And the aha moment was my left knee. That was the injury that in my whole competitive career that really crippled me because you have trouble walking, you can't run. There are times where I'd have to sub out from the rugby field. I'd have to, for boxing, I would wrap it in this, the bands that powerlifters use.
Yes.
Yeah. I would walk around with these bands, just to be able to get some functionality in it. I remember on a seated position, it would get so painful when my knee was at this sort of 45-degree angle. And I would carry with me this deep heat rub. And it would get so painful. I would start, in the middle of meetings or in a taxi or on a plane, I'd be rubbing this deep heat and everyone would be like, they'd have that smell. But that's the aha moment, was after a week, I didn't have the pain. And then one more week of treatment, I stopped using the device for my knee. I was fine.
Wow.
But yeah, that was like 7 years ago. And it just, it triggered an interest. What is red light therapy? Because originally as an athlete, you want a competitive edge. You want like the latest supplements and what's the protocols. And you're talking to coaches and, other guys that you're competing with, So I learned a lot about it, and I wanted to build a device that was more versatile, more portable, something that was, something that suited me as I was always on the go.
Yeah, it tends to happen where we find things that are wrong with us. How can we fix that? You design something that's going to fix that, especially with that mobility and flexibility. And we'll dig into that. So back to your kind of story, I do have to say this. Whenever you meet somebody that's a rugby player, it's a very good person to become friends with. That's someone that you don't want to have as an enemy. Just a little FYI for anybody out there that rugby players are very good people to be friends with. They're some tough sons of guns, that's for sure.
Yes.
So in regards to your LumaFlex you have, I want to talk a little bit about the science behind the red light therapy. How is this technology, this innovative technology, transforming the way people address muscle recovery or pain relief? And then it's backed by science as well from what you have.
In my learning phase of learning about red light therapy, meeting all these scientists, some of them now very, very close friends with as well. When a scientist talks, you're like, I don't have a degree to have a conversation with you. Like they're speaking on a level that's very well educated, right? But I remember one scientist, the way that he packaged the information to me was so, it just clicked, it hit a bulb in my head. And that was something that really resonated with me because it helped me with my journey and the LumaFlex product development journey. And now whenever I talk about light therapy, and I think the reason why I've had, well, I don't want to boast, but the reason why LumaFlex has had success is we're very committed to making sure we can package the information, the science, we can demystify it, because it's important that people can incorporate it. They see like, oh, I could use this tomorrow. And then not only that, but they can also then go tell their friends. We don't want to be in that conversation where they go, oh, I remember it's something about this and, I don't know, go look it up yourself. You want to tell them these bite-sized pieces of information that they then can, start planting seeds, So I remember the scientist, he said, like, your body is like a solar panel and the sun is giving you energy. Think of your body like your phone. Your phone, when it runs out of battery, it starts to go slow. It's on like, it's not operating at full capacity. Apps start to get slower. Maybe, it starts to conserve energy. And that's like how our body is. And giving your body light, and red and infrared light is nothing fancy. It's not made in a laboratory by a bunch of modern Einsteins, tinkering away. It's from the sun, right? It's available to us just outside in the sun. And it's specific nanometers that are given by the sun that we program into LEDs that then emit that same nanometer, that same wavelength. Okay. And that's just like charging your body. And the light goes into your cells and activates your mitochondria. It's like if your body's an F1 car, the engine is the mitochondria. You're giving energy to the mitochondria. The car, the body, you can do what it's supposed to do. You optimize your body's cells, the cell can do what it's supposed to do. So it's not really that the light heals you or creates this magic. It gives your body energy to then heal itself, to then do what it's supposed to do. And, if you think it, more and more about it, as I did, you realize that we as a population, we're very deficient in energy from the sun. We're 95% deficient in sunlight. We spend 85% of our days indoors under artificial light. So we're at an energy deficit. So if we want to reverse that, we can't really use the sun anymore because we've gone too far past in our evolution. We're not, it takes a long time. Like I know one scientist who's conditioned his eyes to be able to look at the sun over 5 years. It took him 5 years. He's conditioned his body to have a relationship with the sun, with energy, to be able to go out, doesn't get sunburned, all of this. But we can't do that, right? None of us should ever be thinking to do that. So we need tools. We need tools to help hack our life, right? Make us young, make us energized, help us recover, deal with pain. And that's where red light therapy tools come in. And yeah, LumaFlex, I just wanted to aim specifically at portable devices. What's the best, way I can deliver a very good portable device? That was always my focus. I didn't want to do the big ones or, the fancy ones with all the bells and whistles. Just a portable device you can carry with you anywhere, anytime, and you can create consistency of using red light therapy and giving your body that energy.
That's a great point. You had said before that even you yourself were looking for the edge. A business owner is looking for an edge. An athlete is looking for an edge. So that LumaFlex difference is what kind of sets you apart. And I would say it's the portability, it's the flexibility. It's when you're at the gym, you can pull it out of your gym bag. Would you agree with that?
Yes. So it's very funny you say that because in the early stages of development, my thinking was, when you watch these YouTube videos where you have like a famous athlete and the title of the video is like, what's in his gym bag? Okay. And usually it's like what do they call it? A clickbait thing.
Yeah.
And sponsors will be like, oh, put my supplements or put my, wristbands or whatever in there. And then they do this promotion thing where they like open his bag and I was like, that idea years ago, I was like, the LumaFlex needs to be in that gym bag. It needs to be able to be thrown into the gym bag and not break. That was sort of the original sort of concept of its use.
Yeah. And John, back to your point about energy draining. So stress is a big part of that. You know, we're not out in the sun. Almost everybody's vitamin D levels are down. And, you know, the LumaFlex allows for that to happen. So basically it's a portable treatment device. And I would assume, tell me if I'm wrong, you don't have to be an athlete to use this.
Well, I mean, red light therapy, just as we as humans back in the day have a lot more light exposure. It's for everybody. It's for everyone. Originally, when I launched LumaFlex, my passion was the fitness community. But, you know, I don't want to narrow myself just to this audience. So it's now like we're used in the military. In Europe, the device is used in ambulances. So it's on the front line of people that, you know, really need care. So where my audience is now is for anybody who wants cellular energy. Okay. I mean, even with the liquid silicone, we also have a lot of traction with pets because people buy the device, they can use it, and then they give it to their pet, and then they can clean it because it's liquid silicone. So it's sort of, and there's even in Poland, there's a few race horses that use LumaFlex, no joke, and they're like winning, and they're winning races. Because the way the device is very flexible. It's an all-in-one device. It can wrap around any joint or muscle. Yeah. So, and the feet of a horse are problem areas. They have a lot of issues with their feet, and it's able to wrap around the horse's fit. If you check our socials, you'll see a lot of horses with LumaFlex legs. It's quite something I wasn't expecting, but it's.
No, that's great. That's a nice little niche to fall into. They have a need because they want to win, but they also very much care for the end result, which is the health of their athlete, which is the horse. So yes. I know that there's another technology out there called PEMF that a lot of people use with horses as well. So it's whatever we can do to energize our body. Mitochondria is a big issue in improving on that. Now, I know you treat athletes, you treat other people at home, but how do you see red light therapy and specifically LumaFlex working from a mindfulness perspective? In other words, how does this help people from mental clarity, overall well-being, or improving focus?
The thing, again, going back to how the amount of sun exposure we had before, right? Sunrise and sunset, these are our optimal times to get pure red and infrared light. During the day, those other rays of light come in, the UV rays. But if you can imagine back in that time, we would wake up at the sun or the sunrise and we would go to sleep at sunset. And this circadian rhythm, this was in our biology. But now where we are at with artificial light, we're always on the phone and everybody's playing around on TikTok, watching silly videos. We're exposed to artificial light, which is throwing off our circadian rhythm. And then everyone has these questions. Why are people depressed, or why are people anxious, or why can't people sleep? And I'm not saying like all problems are solved if you're just, you're respecting your circadian rhythm. But what I really recommend is that when people, when the sun sets, imagine, we didn't have artificial light. We had campfires. We had red and infrared light from campfires. So I always encourage, and this is something that I do, is at nighttime, I use the LumaFlex as a light because my body is now winding down. It's now going to sleep, right? Okay. Because the sun is set. So respecting my circadian rhythm, the sun is set. This has now become my light. When you're sleeping and you have to wake up to go to the bathroom and you turn the light on. It may seem like something that we're used to, we're conditioned to it, but it's not in our biology. You should use the light to go to the bathroom and try to keep your body into that mode of regeneration, of sleeping. Yeah. So for the clinical research to show the support that red light therapy can do for mental well-being, especially I'm very big in supporting veterans with PTSD. And we have a VA clinic that we sponsor devices to in Boca. And some of these guys, wow, they're absolutely physically, mentally destroyed. Yeah. And it's amazing that the approach that this VA clinic has, amazing. They're called Gray Team. Amazing. Shout out to Gray Team. They're amazing, these people. Okay. All natural treatments. Everything is natural. So they take these veterans in and they put them through a protocol. They give them red light therapy. They give them heat, from sauna, cold immersion, PMF. Like they have a protocol in place, and they're doing amazing, amazing work. But just the studies, there are clinical research studies that show red light therapy supporting PTSD. Very, very exciting. I would love to send you, or if anybody wants to reach out, I'm happy to send them to you, because they're some of my favorite studies.
We'll get those from you. We'll put them in the show notes for sure. So that's a way in which you're helping veterans. You've helped athletes. We can, I want to ask one question before I want to come back to the athletes, but where can you see, if I'm in my office all day, how can you see me, or how can I utilize LumaFlex if I'm in an office, if I'm in a cubicle, if I'm running back and forth of meeting to meeting to meeting, in and out of the Uber, whatever it could be, but how from a workplace perspective could I use that maybe to reduce stress or just to increase my energy?
Yeah, exactly. Reduce your stress and increase your energy. Workplace wellness is a topic that I'm on Forbes Council, and I write articles specifically about workplace wellness and incorporating red light therapy into workplace wellness. A lot of my articles are on Forbes. You can see them. But like the one thing that a lot of people have, like the number one pain in America right now is the lower back pain. This area, more people get onto drugs, they get onto medications, they even have surgery potentially when they don't need it. And something interesting about the LumaFlex, its design, this shape, right? So you look at the shape and you think like, oh, you don't think much of it. But this exact size was something that took months to sort of get the where we said, okay, we're going to approve this size. This is our size. And the goal was to have a large enough surface area to deal with that number one pain, the lower back. A lot of people have when they're on desks. But we didn't want to go too big to where we lose portability and lose versatility, where it's too big for mom to carry in her bag when she's, out doing, what she's doing, or, for the guy who's in the office who puts it in his backpack or his briefcase. We wanted it to be in everybody's different bags and be able to easily placed in different areas and easy to take anywhere, anytime, right? Yeah. So that actual size, if ever anybody was curious, that's the size that basically all the data brought back, that's the size that keeps portability, but also has enough surface area to address the lower back pain. Which is something that in workplace wellness is like talked about so much, the lower back.
Yeah, the shifting to a standing desk helps, but if your back hurts when you sit, it's going to hurt a little bit when you stand too. From a design standpoint on those models, the long slits on the tops and the bottoms, is that for something to wrap around and hold on?
Yeah, the straps. We've got straps. I just don't know where I put my straps, but we have a long strap and we have a short strap. Okay. And the short straps are used for like arms and legs. The bigger straps are for your body. But another funny thing about, running these user trials in the beginning, something I didn't know this would happen, but what I've seen people use now on the market is they literally use their clothing. They'll use I call this the Iron Man. They use their clothing to just hold it in place, so that now this is the heart, I'm getting the heart. Or another very good area is the spine. And they used it like that. The shirt holds it to be able to get this area. This is for PTSD, this is a very good area to aim red light therapy, is the back of the head, the top.
Base of the cerebellum, yeah. Okay, yeah. Now, I don't want you to go too deep in the technology because I'm not the smartest man in the world, but can you really tell us how does it work, whether I have, a shoulder injury, or whether you're saying how it kind of works with people from a PTSD. I know they're two different, but what is it that the technology, the LumaFlex, really does to help improve our health?
It's all cellular energy. Anytime that you ever hear a topic about light therapy, just think on the cellular level. You're giving energy to your body on a cellular level. It's like when someone says, you have your phone. So imagine your phone's your body. You have your phone. Can the phone, can you download this app? Or can you download this app? Okay. All apps can be downloaded on the phone as long as the phone has energy. And it's the same with our body. It's the ultimate hack. It's the ultimate biohack, because everything up from cellular energy, increase collagen in your skin to make you look pretty, hair growth, right? Aim it in your hair to help with hair growth. I mean, there was a study done by a guy, I believe his name is Ben Greenfield, where he showed the data that he actually raised his testosterone levels just using red light therapy. And guess what? Guess where he aimed the device?
You don't want the old bulb of the hot device you had before. You want
I can't use that one. That won't work. But it's all increasing blood circulation. So increasing blood circulation, increasing cellular ATP, right? And with these two mechanisms, you turn off inflammation. I mean, the root of all problems with our bodies is inflammation, right? Whether it be, dealing with a mental condition, you just lost your job, you're stressed, or dealing with, a broken knee, or dealing with cancer, right? It's all just different levels of inflammation. What red light therapy does, it addresses inflammation. It's an inflammation. Think of it as the ultimate inflammation hack. Like if you've had like spicy, Thai food and your stomach is gurgling, you put red light therapy onto your stomach to help with the digestion. There's a study, actually, I believe I can send you the study as well, for women's period pain using red light therapy. And they've shown like amazing results with it's really just plugging your body into the power socket, right? It's just giving your body cellular energy. So what, if I could go on, what we sort of our protocol, our LumaFlex protocol, is we say you touch skin. And the reason for that is you want bang for your buck, right? You bought the device. On the device, you have a manual. In the manual, we show you the output, that is delivered into your body. You want all that output from the manual into your body. So don't waste the output. Don't be at a distance from the device, because light reflects, right? It ricochets, so put all of that power output into the body. And then in the battery, we have a 10-minute timer. And then you can use a 10-minute time frame as a treatment. And then if you have a condition, you say, okay, I've got this pain in my shoulder. Let's give it a rating from 1 to 10. It's 8. It's 8 pain. I've dealt with this for a long time. So you're giving yourself a pain rating. You have a treatment of 10 minutes. And we recommend 2 treatments a day to get a result. 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Night is kind of again, that time, that hack time of the day, because usually when you give yourself that pain rating is the next morning. So you say, how am I feeling? Okay, that's about a 7. I'll continue doing these treatments. And this is what we all cover in our LumaFlex Academy, where you can almost self-medicate yourself with red light therapy based on this protocol.
Okay. So I do want to bring up 2 things with what you said, the Academy. So I want you to explain the LumaFlex Academy, because whether I buy it as a clinician or somebody buys it that, is in the gym and they're trying to get better at their pull-ups or their squat, whatever it may be, how does the LumaFlex Academy help those people?
The LumaFlex Academy kind of came about it was about a year into launch time. And right now, thank you so much for mentioning our awards. We're now at 9 Design and Innovation Awards, and I'm nominated for number 10 and 11. And I'll know in September if I get these awards. So we're the most heavily awarded company in red light therapy on the planet. But having a device, winning all these awards, it's not a solution. People are still like, what do I do with this? Do I have to go listen to a podcast or go research on my own? We're not giving a full solution to the customer or the venue, or the distributor. So I got a scientist on my team. This guy he's the smartest man that I know, Peter Forehand. He actually just came out with a book. He had like a book launch in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. Very amazing guy. Everybody, please look him up. He's incredible. And we put our heads together and we created the LumaFlex Academy. And the goal with that was not to do the whole, we're going to start selling courses online. We're a product company. I'm a manufacturer, but I want to give a full solution. I want to give a product and then give the training, because I recently signed a distributor for Africa, right? I'm like, is there red light therapy products in Africa? Like, probably not. That's, am I the first? Wow. But, when I do with all these regional distribution, it's a lot about, there's contracts and everything, but they're like, John, do you have sales training? What's sort of the process? How do we love the product, we want to bring it on board. We want to add it to our brands, but what's next? And that's sort of was the motivation for building the Academy. But it's sort of taken on a life of its own, and we run webinars every month, and we bring people from their trainers, their nurses. Some of them, it's like we do a private group where it's like a specific gym or a wellness center or a med spa. We do something more targeted for them. And our first course for the LumaFlex Academy is the Foundations course. And that's where the science, red light therapy, LumaFlex, you know everything about us. You know everything that you'd ever will need to know, that again, you'll be able to pass on to somebody else. You've got it there. And now we're at the stage where we're adding new courses. We're doing one specific for chiropractors. We're doing one specific for pet health, one for mental well-being. We're adding now new courses into it. And it was probably the best decision I made in running the company. I would probably say it's probably the thing I'm most proud of is the education. And I would say it's my number one job. Number one job for me is supporting my partnerships. These people are either distributors or resellers. Some of them are covering very large regions. And my number one job is to support them and help them grow the business. And then my second job is just to grow the Academy, just to get more, students in. Anyone who's interested, they can hit me up. I can give you free access, no problem. That's like fulfilling my mission, of why I got into light therapy.
Yeah. So you're speaking about kind of from a business standpoint. So for the business owners that are out there, you're an entrepreneur. Sounds like you're becoming more of a serial entrepreneur as you're working through this, which is great. But if there's some if I'm in an industry, not red light, something else, for somebody that may be behind you a few steps, would you say to someone that you wish you would have done when you started?
Yeah, that's always a tough question, because you always wonder, if I changed anything, then where would I be? Right? Or this whole what if, right? I think there's always the thing that I think from a business perspective, because a lot of close mates of mine, a lot of them, we're all getting older. I'm 40 now, and I'm in that crew of guys, we're married, and we're all oof, we're not as snappy as before. And everyone's sort of transitioning to wellness business, right? Because it's something that they're passionate about, because they want to be healthy. They want to see their grandkids go to college, right? And they also, that we sort of have these masterminds, you could call them, right? And I always sort of say that the thing that I've learned the most is that it can never be perfect. You can't figure it all out, then launch. You can do as much prep work as you can, and absolutely do. But the moment you launch, something will come, something will come up, and you have to put that fire out. And then there's another fire and another fire. And it's basically, you just have to get it over and done with, and just start getting used to putting out fires. Because as you put out fires, you get better at putting out fires. And then when you get better at putting out fires, suddenly those fires don't seem like very big fires, right? It sort of seems like it rolls,
So in the business development that you're going through as the business owner, what's one thing in your current business that's keeping you up at night?
I would say my team. I have a very, coming from an athlete background, playing competitive sports, I was always a team person. I was always that guy, put it in, guys, we'd all, we'd do our dragons, we'd always huddles, I'm very much a team person. So if I'm ever up at night and it's something that's stressing me, I would honestly say it's something team related. Am I motivating the team well enough? We're bringing on new people, this guy doesn't seem happy. How can I approach him or inspire him again? It's usually, I think it's something that as you grow, bringing on a team and taking care of your team will become a very big challenge, and it never ends.
Yeah. So in the States here, across the world, I think that people are looking to find ways to get healthier. be healthier, find youth. So what are some growth opportunities that you see for LumaFlex?
Growth opportunities. Where's our, I mean, I guess where do we see us in the future, right? Where's our potential? I envision in 3 years' time, every household having at least 3 red light therapy devices. I think we're sort of at the very beginning of a very massive, let's call it an awakening, of natural healing, of a real inspired, encouraged excitement for natural healing. I can see, guys like Andrew Huberman or Gary Brecka. These personalities are popping up, and people really revere them, and they listen to what they say, and they preach natural healing, and it's very good. We're sort of right. We're coming to a time when it's going to take off. It's going to become mainstream, and that's always been my vision, is to mainstream it, have it something that is so common. It's talked about, the ladies on their brunches over a Prosecco or whatever. They're, oh, did you do your red light therapy? Oh, I did my red light therapy. Like I feel like it's coming, to the point where we're going to have a device for beauty in the home, a device for mental well-being, and then a device for pain. Because beauty is also a very big space in light therapy, and that part of photobiomodulation is sort of pioneering, and everything's coming in after it. I would even say, like, beauty as in the photobiomodulation is like 90% of the market. Masks and devices to make a woman beautiful are just everywhere. So and people are like, oh, if it can do this, can it do that? And they're kind of making a connection. So where LumaFlex, I'm hoping, I've got a product coming out soon. At the end of this year, I want to launch another product, Lord willing. And then next year, I've got 5 products on the roadmap.
A lot of growth and runway that you're leading into. Yeah. So I want to bring it back to a potential patient that's out there. Can you share a success story that you've heard of, whether it's a testimonial or review, something like that, how the red light therapy, the LumaFlex, has helped somebody with a condition they've had?
Yeah, I think there's one story of a gentleman. I met him in New York. We were at a conference, and comes over, he's like, what is this? What's this, what's this magical thing you guys do? You and your lights, you keep shining your lights. And this guy had a shoulder he dealt with for like 20 years. And he's like, oh, I can never sleep on this shoulder. He's mumbling and grumbling about this shoulder. And I was there with Peter. And the reason I love this story so much is because we filmed it. Because Peter he's a scientist. Like, he consults for so many companies. He's a scientist. Like, it's blessing that he's contributing to LumaFlex, but he's always, is involved in so many wonderful projects. And he's making a documentary movie about light therapy, just about light. And he filmed this guy, and we said, okay, do 10 minutes touching skin on the front of the shoulder, and then 10 minutes on the back. And this guy, he goes like, what? And you see this, his whole paradigm shifted. He runs out of the conference, and he's like, I got to call my wife. And he runs out and he calls his wife, and he comes back, and the video, he's just like, what have you guys done? What is this? Like, it's this dramatic video that I really love. Like, we have a giggle about it. Because it's going to go into his documentary. That was really it's like that for some people, because the greatest thing about the human race is we're all different. It's like our greatest resources are differences. Sure. But everyone has different pain ratings. Everybody has different energy levels. How somebody deals with pain, the same pain isn't the same for another person. That's why we have that protocol in place that is can be generalized for everyone. But you get someone that uses it once, and they do, backflips, and they're like, oh my God. And then other people, they need to take 2 weeks. For me personally, in the people that I've had the pleasure of introducing light therapy to, 2 weeks, 2 treatments a day, and it's gone from a pain of 10 to 0. For a doctor, like some of the doctors that I know that have practices in the US, when they prescribe light therapy, they usually won't let you, like, they won't say, oh, let's try another modality after a month. They'll say 4 weeks. So it's kind of is different to each person. I remember real quick one story. I remember I was sitting in a plane. I was flying from Chicago to Miami, and I had the LumaFlex because I take it on the plane with me just to help. Again, it's like a night flight, and I'm just sort of like winding myself down. And there was a lovely little lady sitting there. She's like, "What's this? What is this? Tell me about what's going on here. You're shining light, everything, whatever." And we're talking. And she dealt with a very serious condition that she overcame. But she's flying to go see her sister who has a very, very serious condition. And I remember telling her about LumaFlex, email me. I'll send you a discount code. And she's like, yes. I want to pay for it. John, don't worry. I don't need anything for free. You don't need to feel sorry for me. But I remember this email she wrote me afterwards. She was like, John, I think it was a miracle I met you on that flight. And I will never forget that. Like it was something very, like, it's easy to get emotional for me about that, because I remember she was very, very sweet little lady, the kind of lady that holds her handbag, and she's just very sweet little lady. And that meant a lot to me. When you hear some feedback like this, it's very, it's definitely.
You mentioned that. Thanks for sharing that, John. You had mentioned earlier that you've got something coming out here late in fall. So you've got a current version and something new coming up. Can you explain the difference of the two?
Yes. So the sort of the star of the show currently right now is the LumaFlex Body Pro. This is the one that is environment and temperature tested. So it's fully waterproof. And when you buy it, it comes with a spare battery, and it's also app connected. So I can attach it to the app on my phone, and I can actually integrate frequency red light with a bar. Something I don't talk about enough is in the app, I'm able to, up to 100 hertz, I can use a slide bar. And the reason I wanted a slide bar was because clinical research is coming out about optimizing light therapy using frequency rather than just having fixed light. Now, there are devices that you can buy, and they'll be fixed settings. They'll have like 8 hertz, 40 hertz, 50 hertz. They'll have like 3-4 settings. I like it. That's great. But I thought, what if, as the clinical research is coming out, you can have a slide bar, see where I can slide, and I can go up to 100 hertz based on clinical research. So there's one for stress reduction at 50 hertz, red and infrared light. So I type it in, 10-minute dose, and this is 50 hertz.
Oh, interesting.
And then I can also change it to 8 hertz, which is very good for sort of relaxation. And that's 8 hertz, putting on the back of your head. So that's something that's special about the Body Pro, is it's app connected with frequencies, adjustable frequencies, spare battery, and then obviously it's environment temperature tested. My brother is a bit of a motorcycle adventurer, and he took the device to Morocco on a big, crazy desert ride, and he had an accident where there was a lot of rain, so the desert became mud, and the bike got stuck, and he kind of went forward and he pulled his hamstring. He used the device to recover, and he did a nice little video for me. But it's that rugged terrain. That's where this one belongs. Okay. And then Essential, exactly the same in terms of treatment, 45 dual LEDs of 630 red and 850 infrared nanometers, except the retail version doesn't have a spare battery. It's fixed, and it's not fully waterproof. It's just sweat proof. Okay. But the new and improved is the Essential Pro. And the Essential Pro is the upgrade, and it's going to also be connected to the app for the frequencies. What I wanted to do with this one is there's 2 nanometers in here, 630, 850. This one will have 6 different nanometers, red and infrared. And one of the nanometers that is going to be in here is 1064 nanometers, which is very heavily researched for brain health. And having the device on the back of your head and on for your brain. There was sort of the special thing about the products coming into the future are the additional nanometers that we've chosen. Me and Peter have selected nanometers based on clinical research and then based on our approach to light therapy treatment.
Okay. So, I mean, your story is phenomenal. I love it. But I want to ask you if there's there's multiple products that are out there that are red light therapy, but what makes you different than any other product out there? What makes LumaFlex the leader in the industry, if you wish?
Coming from a fitness background, consistency was always the thing that I would preach to tell people, if you want to be successful in fitness, you want to lose weight, you want to gain muscle, you have to eat right, drink water, get rest. Consistency. We always preach consistency. It's a thing that it's the factor that determines success, whether it be, business or whatever. Consistency of light therapy is the overall concept of what LumaFlex is. So if all light therapy devices were in a race, and the finish line is the device that you're going to be using this same time next year, that's the race that I'm focused on winning. So I'm not the device that will fix everyone's problems. I'm just the device that I can, based on all the number of user trials that we did in the early development stage where we gave the product out, like, what do you think? Do you like it? We're the device that people consistently use. And where red light therapy wins is when you are consistent using it. Remember back, those ancient times, we had much more sun exposure. So therefore, the more we're consistent with light therapy exposure, the more optimal we will be. There's even studies that show that, person A and person B get into the same accident or have the same injury. The person who's been using light therapy consistently will recover faster than the person who just starts using it. So my goal was portability, consistency of use. Are you going to use this product same time next year? That's what my focus was with LumaFlex. But I mean, any product that works is definitely is to get. My battle is never against other light therapy products. My battle is against evasive of treatment, right? Taking pills and potions. That's kind of where the focus needs to be.
Okay, John. So if people want to learn more about LumaFlex or learn more about you, where you're going, where you're traveling to, and how they can kind of catch up on that, we'll share all the information in the notes, but where would you like people to go to look up you and or LumaFlex?
Go to lumaflex.com. So Luma meaning light, flex as in flexibility. And if to reach out to me, I will give free access to the LumaFlex Academy if you just DM me on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active. I'm John Graham Fitness. Just say, yo, love Dr. Derek's show. I heard I can get some access. Give me your email and I'll upload it. I'll enroll you in the back end and then an email is sent out to you and you enjoy your learning.
Okay. We'll make sure to put that in the show notes as well. So John, I really want to thank you very much for taking time out of your early morning where you're at currently. So thank you for making that for making that challenge come true for me to get you as a host. So you have an extremely unique perspective, meaning you came from being an athlete, you had an injury, your wife introduced you to this, so I hope she's got a percentage of the company along the way. Yeah. And it's very good to have somebody that's gone through it. Like if somebody tries to give you advice as a parent, it's always difficult if they don't have children. But you've got advice from, you've lived through it, you've dealt with it, you've built it. So I think that that's a great way in which our audience can understand this is another aspect of full spectrum healthcare of how people can improve their health. And for our viewers and listeners, if you found this conversation today useful, we ask you to do 2 things. Share it. We want you to share it so John and LumaFlex can be in the hands of more people. It's flexible, it's light, he wants it to be there forever, and the consistency is important. So if you can share that with people. Also, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel just so we can get, the next time we drop another podcast, it'll be there. So until next time, remember, True wellness is a journey that we are all on together. Whether you're taking charge of your own health or you're helping and guiding others to get forward in theirs, it's every step that matters. So we want to say, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.